Hey guys, it's Stu from Stuart Scale Models, and this is going to be my final reveal for my Rogue One Revell AT ACT Walker. You'll have to excuse me if the book is shaking about. It's because basically I'm holding it with two hands and it's a bit heavy. So this is basically what I used as a source for this build. It's actually published by DK. It's the Ultimate Visual Guide, and it's full of a wealth of information and photographs from the film Rogue One, which has come in extremely handy, I have to say. I think I got it at a knockdown price of about £10 at Smith's around about Christmas time. Was it Christmas time or was it just short enough? I think it was around about February. So I snapped this up. I thought it'd come in handy for me Bandai kits, but I ended up using it for this one, the Revell AT ACT at 1/1000th scale. Yeah, it's come in extremely handy, so much so I'm going to show the end result now. So here she is. And doesn't she look super? I'm very, in fact, as my American cousins over the pond would say, I'm pretty stoked, actually, at the way it's come out. I think I've pretty much caught the vehicle as near to the film as I can, as well as the scene at the end of Rogue One, when they're actually... what's the name? Hang on, bear with me, I've just got to refer to the book now. Excuse me. When they actually go towards trying to get the plans for the Death Star on the Scarif Citadel, as it were, and then the opposing Empire forces send in the walkers, as it were, to stop them, as they're sort of making their way through the Scarif jungle, as it were, to get to the Citadel. So I think I pretty much caught that scene as true to the film as I could, with the tools I had. As I say, I'm pretty stoked at the way it's actually come out. It's really, really, well, I've surprised myself, to be honest with you, especially by some of the reaction I've had from the photographs on Facebook. Yeah, it is a lovely kit, to be honest with you. Admittedly, it's not as highly detailed as the Bandai AT in 1/144th, which is slightly bigger. But it's surprising what you can do if you put your mind to it, and if you have plenty of reference material at hand. As I say, the kit itself was very simple to build. It snapped together within 2 hours. I got it assembled, and then the very next day I decided to prime it in black Steinerese, which went down nicely, and the next colour I used on top of that for the base colours, obviously for the when it comes round the cargo hold here, which supposedly it takes all the munitions etc in, was used with Tamiya XF59. So that came up pretty damn near it, to be honest with you, because, excuse me for moving the camera, if I can get the page here, if I can find it, bear with me. He says, damn it, can't find the power. Here we go. It's pretty much damn near the colour, to be honest with you. Admittedly, I forgot the emblem on there, but it is what it is, guys. I couldn't find a decal or any aftermarket decals, so I thought, well, I'll leave it as it is. So I think I pretty much caught the colours bang on, actually. So let's put it back into position with the camera. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. And then after I'd done that, I masked off the cargo deck with Tamiya masking tape, and obviously under here, and then just went over it with the base colour for the vehicle with XF 83, which is the medium sea grey. So that went down pretty nicely actually. And then after that, just went over with a coat of clear to seal in the colours. And then obviously went over with a dark dirt wash, which was Flory's dark dirt wash. The reason I used that was basically because it was the right tone and consistency really to bring out all this extra details you see on the side with all the panels, etc. So yeah, that was my reason behind using that. After that was done, I put it aside and then started working on the base itself. Now the base was one of two I actually picked up at Telford last November at Scale Model World, and I got the card around here somewhere of someone's business that does it, but I think for life of me I can't find it today. It's always the way when you want to do a video, isn't it? When you want to get everything at hand, it's never there. But hey, never mind. I'll probably let you know at a later date, maybe on my channel update. Which incidentally I'll probably do at the weekend, next weekend. Anyway, I'm detracting from what I'm telling you. After I'd done that, I just went over and did it again with a base of Steiner's just to prime it. And then obviously masked off the sides around the edge here with some Tamiya masking tape. And then laid down the base colours for the scene, which was a mixture of XF60, dark yellow, and then obviously another colour of olive green XF58 for where the palm trees and the woodland was going to be. So I did that, sealed it in with clear again, and then after that I went over with a mixture of PVA bond, which is always something they tell you to do, is put the PVA bond down first. And I got this at my local ironmongers, so this is just a universal one. And then over that I put a nice thin layer of Chetreon all-purpose filler, and let that dry for at least 24 hours. And then obviously once that was done, I went over with the base colours as I just told you. Then it was on to the actual palm trees, because I shortly got those through over because I ordered them around about a month earlier, and they shipped them all the way in from China. I cannot remember the name of the company that produces these trees, unfortunately guys, because I did look back, but there was no source as to who they were. It was just off a private buyer on eBay. But you come with an absolute pack full of them. Where did I put them? I put them down somewhere. Ah, here we go. So that's basically how they came through. If I get one of them out, there's one of these. They're already pre-painted, and obviously you've got the leaves already in. Yeah, and the only thing I did find was that all the leaves were a little bit sort of toy-like. So to remedy this, if you see here, I've got a seam going down, so I got rid of the seam, sanded it down with a UMP sander, and then obviously used one of UMP's washes, which was their sand, as you can see on here. And then after I'd done that, I clear coated it to seal in the wash. And then obviously went over this, over the trees here, with some Testa's dull coat, just to give it more sort of a sense of reality, as it were. And then I basically carried on with the base itself and used a mixture of, let me see, the first thing I put on was, if I can find them, here we go. For the actual beach was Woodland Scenic's medium ballast, okay, as you can see on there. And then for the actual woodland, I used Woodland Scenic's static grass flock, as you can see here. So yeah, they do come in handy, these things, I'll tell you. But the only foolish thing I should have done was actually, I should have actually put the palm trees in first, because I did have some fun and games with this, because I was a bit of a twit. Thinking it would be okay, I super glued them down, and do you think half the time they would not glue? They kept coming off, and I kept pulling the turf off, and I thought the whole thing was going to end up an absolute disaster. In fact, it nearly got like that. I was going to throw it in the bin, but I thought, no, persist. So I thought, right, what I'll do is I'll glue them back in, which I did. And then obviously I saw that the actual ballast was too dark when I did some reference material in the book, so I went over that with a dusting of XF57 Tamiya Buff to give it more of a sort of a tropical look with the sand, because obviously it's very light out in the Pacific, you know. And then just gave the base another little sort of sprinkling of static grass, which came up a lot better. So after I'd done that, I did a lot of sort of reference material in the book, and obviously I noticed there was sort of clumps of woodland and bushes around it, so I ended up using Woodland Scenics dark green flock for that. So I put them down around the trees, and I was happy with that. And then obviously the next process was to carry on with weathering on the 80 ACT, which I did. And what I used for that, if I can find it, if you'll bear with me, where did it go? Oh, here we go. Was AK's streaking grime for Panzer Grade vehicles. That's their enamel wash. Now, what I used with that was just basically put a little bit of dabbing over there, as you can see here on some of the panels, just a little dabble, and then just went over with some white spirit and just gently stroked it up and down to give it that streaked effect. Admittedly, when I was doing it, I didn't really notice how it was going to come out, but once it had dried, it came out beautifully. So I was very, very pleased with that. So because I wanted to give it that sort of worn, weathered, streaked look with oil and a mixture of oil and where the rain had been hitting it, where it'd been out in all weathers, as it were, as is depicted in the book, which you just saw. So having done that, I started weathering the cargo compartment with all the various chipping, and I did that with Tamiya XF11 Chrome Silver. That came out pretty well. Once I'd done that, I thought, hang on a minute, it doesn't look as though it's enough. So I just went over the various panels, etc., with the sponge, including the legs, to give it that more authentic, worn look, you know, and essentially on the legs down here as well, as you can see here. And then the final process, I just got some pastels and various parts of the actual vehicle, and then did the same process with the streaking on it. And then the final process of it was just going over it with Tamiya's matte coat, which I have to say, immediately it went down, it just matted it down beautifully. So I was extremely happy with the end result on that. And then it was just a case of basically applying the vehicle to the base, and that was it, job done. And at the bottom of the figure I just went over with some of the actual ballast, and obviously I'd just given it a light dusting with the Tamiya Buff, as though it's been kicking up the sand, as it were. So then after that I basically applied the vehicle to the base with some super glue. But I thought to myself, hang on a minute, you've missed something. And I looked at the actual woodland scene and I thought to myself, it looks too plain and too bare. So basically I referred to a picture in the book again, which we've got here. And if you notice, all the floor has got some of these loose brushes, etc. Now I thought to create that, which I've only just done before I actually did this video, I ended up using, and if I can find the little devils, these, the old green line tufts. So I thought for that scale that would basically represent that nice sort of tropical forest floor, which it certainly has, and it's given it a sort of a tonal variation to match with the foliage on the palm trees. So yeah, that's basically it, guys, really. And obviously the work light inside is still working with the sound effects, as you can see here. So basically that's it, guys. You know, as I say, I'm pretty stoked at how it's come out, and I have to say it's one of my favourite builds of this year, to be honest with you. So that's that project now well and truly completed, and it will join all my other builds that I've got with my Star Wars Bandai kits on the shelf. And I might well do another one possibly next year, I don't know. I mean, admittedly, I wouldn't mind trying to get my hands on the Bandai AT-AT. That does look an awesome looking kit, but we'll see. It is a lot of money, I have to say, compared to this one. But yeah, as I say, I tried to sort of reenact the scene from Rogue One at the end, and I think I've pretty much achieved it. So that's it, guys. That is my completed vignette to the AT-ACT of Revell's of Rogue One. Hope you like what you see. I'm certainly pretty blooming happy with it, I can tell you. And judging by the reaction from most people on Facebook, they were like, wow, you know. So I thought, well, you know, now I felt very humbled by that, I have to say. So thank you, guys. I really am really pretty happy with that. So there you go. Anyway, I've waffled on enough as it is. I will let this turn round one more time for you so you can have a good look at it, and I will shut up because I've waffled on for the best part of what's coming up to 18 minutes. So until the next time, get kit crazy, happy modelling, and I'll speak to you soon. Oh, let's do it one more time, guys. Here we go.